Last time on the Skip and Josh podcast.
You've been MIA. Like, I texted you a few times, I didn't get any responses, and I think I know the reason. You were so upset about England losing that, like, I was afraid, like, I was worried about you. Should I call him? Should I just go over to his house? I know we're like 5 hours away from each other, but still.
You're listening to the Skip and Josh podcast with Skip Sherman and Josh Obadia.
Hello.
Skippy, that was like a British ring. You know the ring that they have on the phones in Britain?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
European style. Yeah. It's great.
How are you?
Good. How's it going?
It's going great. I have the AC on and yet I'm melting in the house. I don't understand it. So just to let the listeners know, we're doing a special episode today. This is not a regular episode. It has nothing to do with current events going on. We were chatting the other day and we decided that'd be a good idea to do a list of our top sports songs. I've seen a lot of lists about top sports movies, but I've never seen a list of top sports songs. And there's a bunch of sports songs that I really like. And so I asked you if you wanted to do this, and you said yes.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of episodes ago, we went a little bit in depth about the England anthem, Three Lions by the Lightning Seeds, and that sort of spurned a little back and forth on text from you saying, why don't we do like all sports songs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I know you've been doing I did like a fair bit of research. I've come up with a top 10 and some, honorable mentions. But from what I gather, your list is far more extensive than mine.
Before we get to our list, I want to let the listeners know about the criteria and the stipulations involved in composing this list.
Well, you texted me like there's parameters. I'm like, okay.
There's parameters. There are only two parameters. The
parameters is it has to be a song. That's where your parameters were.
It has to be a song, but also it has to be a song that you can find either on YouTube or Spotify or something like that. Because there were some songs that I wanted to put on the list that I cannot find anywhere.
But what kind of songs are they? Like nursery rhymes? What are you talking about?
You'll see in a minute. Oh, and by the way, one other parameter, not so much a parameter, but songs that I'm eliminating right now off the top.
Yeah.
You know all those songs that you hear at sporting events to pump up the crowd? Those are all banned from this list.
Well, I do have quite a few of those in my list.
Like that song, Are You Ready to Rumble?
Oh, no.
That's out.
That's out. But you'll hear what I have. They're all in my honorable mention. So, like, you'll see. You'll tell me what you think. I guess that's the whole point of doing the list, right?
Right.
So how do you want to start? Do you want me to start? I think your list is more extensive, so I think I should start.
Well, you can start, but before you get to your actual list of 10... You need to say your honorable mentions that make it first.
Maybe I'll give you my honorable mentions, and this is in no particular order.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'll give you my honorable mentions.
Yeah. Well, one of them that probably is banned from your list, which is Rock and Roll Part 2 by Gary Glitter.
Yes.
So that didn't make your list because you said the Pump Up the Crowd songs are out.
That did not make my list.
Another song that has the same criteria, which I guess didn't make your list either, is Song 2 by Blur.
Correct.
Also known as like the Woohoo song, right?
Right. Correct. It did not make my list.
I have kind of combined the Monday Night Football theme song and also the Fox NFL Sunday theme song, like that's in there.
Both of those are on my honorable mention list, both of them.
Okay. This is a very Montreal specific song. It's also on the honorable mention, which is Bleu Blanc Rouge.
Oh my goodness, I completely forgot about that song.
Now, non-Montreal people, or if you've never attended a game at the Forum or the Bell Center, have no idea what we're talking about. Bleu Blanc Rouge, le Canadien s'est départi de nous. But it's a song which I actually thought was only in French until I heard someone play the complete version on the radio, and it's half in English and half in French. I've only ever known the French part. So it's a Montreal Canadian. It's like the equivalent of like a Montreal Canadiens fight song, like Fly Eagles Fly, or these songs that you hear at NFL stadiums. Mm-hmm. Also honorable mention for me was We Are the Champions by Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Does it qualify as a sports song? It has to, right?
It does, but it's not on my list.
Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones.
Okay, not on my list.
Yeah, because all these are the pump up the crowd songs, right? And the other one that was in my honorable mention is it's a very Pittsburgh centric song, Black and Yellow by Wiz Khalifa. Do you know this song?
Of course I know that song. Yes. I definitely know the song, and it's not on my list.
So that's my honorable mentions.
But you're allowed to put those on your list.
Yeah. So that's my honorable mentions. Maybe you want to do your honorable mentions?
I'm gonna do my honorable mentions right now.
Okay, so none of my honorable mentions were in your top 10, which is great. I was worried about that.
No,
Now,
none
let's
of them are on my top 10, and I had two
Okay.
of the same honorable mentions as you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so shoot your honorable mentions at me.
Okay, again, in no particular order.
Right.
The Hockey Song by Stompin' Tom Connors.
Okay.
And did you have this on your list? We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions. I think you did have that on your list, right? Okay, so that's on my honorable mentions. The theme to Sports Center.
Okay.
That's honorable mention.
I'm not saying if they're not on my top 10 or not. I'm
Okay.
just going to ignore your list. Yeah.
That's fine. Chariots of Fire, Vangelis.
I had considered it in my longer list and then I ditched it. Yeah.
I Love L.A. by Randy Newman.
It's actually such a great song.
Yeah, it is.
Totally 80s, right?
Yeah.
Totally 80s. Blast from the past. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't consider that. That's pretty good.
Rolling down Imperial Highway, big nasty red at my side, Santa Ana winds blowing hot from the north. We were born to ride. Roll down the wind.
Paradise by the Dashboard Life, Meatloaf.
You consider that a sports song because there's like the Phil Rizzuto part?
The whole baseball thing in the middle there.
I guess you consider it a sports song, but really that's not what it's about.
Right.
We'll keep it PG-13.
Right. Super Bowl Shuffle by the Chicago Bears.
I had it on my original list. I'm like, I mean, if you live in Chicago or you're a huge Bears fan, obviously that's in there. But like for me, it doesn't mean anything other than it was a terrible song that came out in the 80s.
Right.
Terrible song. Terrible.
Right. Agreed.
Awful.
Go Cubs Go.
Well, okay, yeah.
Okay. Then the NBA on NBC theme from many years ago.
Yes, I know what you mean. Is this one that you couldn't find on YouTube or?
No, this one I could find, but I'll tell you the one when we get to it.
Okay. Yeah, those are the good days, like the Marv Albert, Mike Fratello era of NBC basketball. Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now here's where it gets complicated.
But this is still honorable mentions?
Right. So the last three honorable mentions, two of them I was not able to find anywhere, and that's the only reason they are honorable mentions, because they would have been in my top 10 if I could find them.
Okay, I honestly cannot wait to hear what songs you came up with that are not searchable on the internet.
Okay, I'll tell you the one that I could find.
Okay.
Do you recall when the Canadians made the playoffs and they were playing the Hurricanes and they were up 2-0 in the series, and I don't know what radio station it was, but they wrote a song called Sweep Caroline, and it was to the tune of Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, but that's not a real song.
It's a real song.
Well, I didn't even think of those, because going back to the Canadians in the 90s, there was this awesome song that they did to like We Didn't Start the Fire tune.
And there was also the one to the song Vogue, but it was Moog.
There's so many great songs that the radio stations made up.
Right.
Yes, I do recall the song that you're talking about.
So that's on my honorable mention list, because I actually like the real song. There's no way you're going to
find that.
No, that one I was able to find.
Oh, okay.
But it didn't make the top 10. The other two I was not able to find. So the other one is very similar. Mm-hmm. Again, you have to think back, way, way back to when the Expos were really good. And what they did was, I don't know what radio station, again, they took a real song. They took The Heat Is On by Glenn Frey, and they spliced Dave Van Horn's commentating into the song. And I could hear it now, like as if it was yesterday, like Rain's rounding third and he's going to score, and Dawson hits a drive and whatever. Anyway, I could not find that song anywhere, but that song, if I was able to find it, 100% would be in my top 10.
Okay.
And then
that's fine.
finally, the last song on my honorable mention list. I don't know the title of this song.
Okay.
But sometimes when you would watch an Expos broadcast, this is way, way back now. Or sometimes when you would go to the stadium, you would hear the song, and I could, and they would use it in commercials too. And I could sing the first line. It goes like this: "Come see the Expos play. Come to the stadium."
But that's not a song. That's a jingle. That's like a commercial.
But it wasn't just a jingle. Like, they used it at the stadium as well.
I know, but that's like saying that I'm gonna put like a little jingle for like Kool-Aid on the list.
Well,
or
anyway,
a product.
I couldn't find it anywhere, so it didn't make the list.
I would never consider those. Yeah, okay.
So anyway, those are my honorable
But
mentions.
certainly, as an Expos fan in the '80s, that song is prominent. So I could see why you like it.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. So, anyway.
So, top 10.
Top 10. So, are you going to do all 10 and then I'm going to do all 10, or we're going to do one each?
I'll do all 10 and then you'll do your 10.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I can't comment then because...
No. Yeah. I mean, don't tell me if any of mine are in your list, or you could if you want. There are 2 of mine that were in your honorable mention.
Okay.
Starting with my number 10, which is the iconic. You don't even have to have the whole theme song. I feel like it's like that old game show, Name That Tune. You just need 4 notes.
What are the 4 notes?
Da-da-da, da-da-da.
Sports Center.
That's it, right? That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Right?
Nice.
That's the whole thing.
I like it.
Number 9 doesn't have an artist because I think it would probably be considered like public domain. It's like such a known song, which is Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Okay.
I have a feeling that's on your list.
It might be.
Number 8 is an interesting song because it was released in the 70s and it did not become a sports song until maybe the last 10 to 15 years.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Which is Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond. Now, you've already mentioned Sweep Caroline,
Yes.
the Canadians' radio station song, but this is Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond because that song, I don't know what year it was released. It's in the 70s, the early 70s probably.
Mm-hmm.
And not till probably the 2000s or late 90s did they probably start playing that at Fenway Park, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
My next one is the Rocky theme song.
Oh, that's a good one.
You know, he's running down the street. The kids are following him. He gets to the top of the stairs, raises his arms.
And you being a Philadelphia household, of course you would put that in your list.
Next is a completely iconic song in the country of Canada, which is the theme song of Hockey Night in Canada.
All right.
Like, I mean, this is part of our childhood, part of growing up, part of being a Canadian is watching hockey on Saturday nights, right? And you know, there's interesting story around that, which is CBC kind of dropped it, and then TSN bought it, right? At a certain point,
Right. Right.
they let it lapse, and they said we're not going to use that song anymore. And then it was the competition started using it. My number 5 is the song that was in your honorable mention, which is also a major part of Canadiana, the hockey song by Stompin' Tom Connors.
Hello out there, we're on the air, it's hockey night tonight. Tension grows, the whistle blows, and the puck goes down the ice. The goalie jumps and the players bump and the fans all go insane. Someone roars, Bobby scores at the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game.
Nice.
Now, I don't love the song. I don't love the song at all. I'm not a fan of it either way, but I feel like its place within the list, you know, because it's so iconic in Canada, it kind of deserves to be there.
I agree.
Number 4, I have a song that we've used as part of our podcast intro a couple of times. John Fogerty, Center Field.
Very interesting.
What says baseball more than that song? You know, even just as much as Take Me Out to the Ball Game, to be honest, you know? It's the way the song's written with like the clapping at the beginning and the crack of the bat and all
exactly.
that, you know? Number 3 is a song that we talked about a couple of episodes ago. It's become the de facto song of the England soccer team. And it's the song 3 Lions. Now, I don't make a distinction between 3 Lions, the original, and 3 Lions 98. To me, it's like one long song.
It's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home, it's coming.
Number 2 is a song that I completely forgot about until like minutes before you called me. And I realized that it's vying for number 1. It's people outside of Montreal, again, are not going to know it. It's by the local artist Anakin Slade. Is this on your list?
No.
It's his tribute to the Expos song. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the YouTube video.
Yes.
I believe the song is called Remember, but I'm not like 100% sure of what the song's called. There's very few things, I'm going to get personal now. There's very few things that can make me cry. But I cannot watch that video without crying. It's sad. It's sad that this affects me.
No,
but,
it's not.
But I mean, when you watch that tribute to the Expos, and you know, at the end of the song, they have the rundown that Dave Van Horn he names a bunch of names players through the ages. It is unreal. You know, honestly,
it's gut wrenching for sure.
It's incredible.
To Rusty and Beatsy and Singy and Georgie, Stoney and Frenchie, Bach and Cy and LP, Hawk, Crow and Rock, Woody, Ross the Boss and the Kid, Eli, Gully, Scotty, Charlie and Scoop, the Cat and Marquise, Walk and Mo, El Presidente and Pedro, Cliffy and Rondell, and Orlando and Michael and Brian and Jose and Vladdy. You got the picture. A wealth of wonderful memories. And I know that as Expos fans, you won't let go of that.
And then number 1, which I feel is probably your number 1 also.
I'm listening.
Although you're keeping a very straight face, playing it close to the vest.
I'm listening.
Is One Shining Moment.
Okay.
The anthem of March Madness. There is a asterisk next to that, in that it's the David Barrett original version. The Luther Vandross version, or
I have
whatever
no time for
other
that.
version CBS has come up with over the years, those don't register.
No, I have no time for those.
Those don't count. Those don't count at all. It's just the original One Shining Moment by David Barrett, which I've used as part of the podcast intro the last 2 years when we did our March Madness preview.
All right. I love your list.
You do? You love my list?
I do. In fact,
I can't wait to hear your list now.
of the 10 songs you named, 5 of them are on my list.
Wow. That means there's 5 songs that I really didn't even consider.
Right. and anyway, you'll see my list and you can say yay or nay.
Sure.
So, number 10 on my list is the Hockey Night in Canada theme, which, by the way, was written by Dolores Clayman.
Oh,
and as you mentioned, it used to be on CBC on Hockey Night in Canada, and now it is used on TSN and on RDS.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when we found out that CBC was stopping using it. I was like, wow, okay, I guess they want to get something more modern or whatever. Didn't seem to make sense. But then when TSN bought it, it was like front page news in the country.
It was
incredible, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Number 9.
Number 9 is Take Me Out to the Ball Game, which, by the way, was written by Jack Norworth and Albert von Tilzer. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name.
You've done your homework.
Yes. So that's number 9 on my list, and we don't really need to talk about it. Although
There's a little anecdote about Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
I have one too, but go ahead.
I loved that when we used to watch the games here in Montreal, they kind of made a French version of it.
I don't know any of those words.
It was like... it was like, instead of buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack,
Yeah.
they would say like croque et pop, like the candy,
I don't think I've ever heard the French version.
And there was verses that were translated. The beauty of baseball in Montreal as a whole, is that, and I thought about this the other day, there was an entire language created by the French baseball announcers. They created French baseball words that didn't exist before.
Right. A word for strike. For
These words didn't exist. They invented them, and now they become part of the dictionary.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, number 8.
So, but let me give you my anecdote about Take Me Out to the Ball Game. So my mom, who's very creative, when my brother had his bar mitzvah, she took a real song, and changed the words and made a song for him for his bar mitzvah. I don't even remember what song she used. Then when it was my bar mitzvah, she did the same thing for me. And the song she used was Take Me Out to the Ball Game, except she changed the words to it.
Can we get your mom on to sing it for us?
I'll find out. I'll see if we can do that.
I really didn't think... I thought you were just going to say no, but okay.
So that was number 9. Number 8 on my list is the theme for Sunday Night Football, the one done by Faith Hill.
Oh, you had the specific... Okay, because when I mentioned the Monday Night theme and the Fox, that was like more music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not like with an artist. The one by Faith Hill is good.
Yes.
I hadn't considered that. Yes. Solid choice. Yeah.
That's number 8. Number 7 on my list is Big League by Tom Cochrane.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that song.
Right.
Oh my God, that's a big mistake by me.
Well, I think the next one you're going to hear is a bigger mistake by you. So number 6 on my list is Glory Days by Bruce Springsteen.
I thought of that. I thought of that one.
Okay.
I mean, it mentions baseball, and I mean, have you ever seen the video for it?
Yeah, like there's scenes of baseball players.
Yeah, there's a long video, like with an extended thing where he's just throwing, like he's on the diamond by himself throwing strikes, right? Like simulating a game.
I don't remember the entire video, but I remember seeing it at least once.
Yeah.
So
I thought of it, but to me, it wasn't like, it's not really sports, but I guess that for you it is, right? So.
Yeah. For number 5 on the list is Center Field by John Fogerty, which we talked about earlier. Number 4 on my list is 3 Lines by the Lightning Seeds. Now, I'm going to stipulate the original 3 Lines because even though there's not much of a difference between the 1998 version, which is the newer one, I prefer the earlier one from 1996 because when you listen to the 1998 version, at least the very beginning of the song, it's actually quite chilling and a little scary. I don't know if scary is the right word, but it's very chilling. It seems like almost like someone died. And in the 1996 version, it seems like a very uplifting, upbeat, happy version.
I like the 98 version better because of the clips that they play.
The names of the players.
Yeah, so in the original version, the clips that they play are all from like the 1966. It's the old timers.
Right.
And then the clips that they play in the 98 version are all like the players from 96, right? Alan Shearer
and the current coach.
Yeah.
The current coach.
Gareth Southgate is at the beginning. Yeah,
who takes the shot and misses.
Yeah. You know, when England played Colombia in this year in the World Cup and it went to penalties, I tweeted the most brilliant tweet I've ever tweeted. And now I've told you the story how we have a tweet that has like 600 likes, right?
Yeah.
And just yesterday I tweeted something that has like 40 likes and it's completely inconsequential about nothing. This was the most brilliant tweet ever. I hashtagged it and everything. It had like 1 like.
What was it?
Right before the penalties were going to start, I wrote, Gareth Southgate, the whole of England are with you.
Yes.
Which is exactly what they say in the song at the beginning.
Right, but no one here is going to get that.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant, but, no one saw it.
So, by the way, speaking of Gareth Southgate, I don't know a lot about soccer, but correct me if I'm wrong, he's like a defenseman, right? So him taking a penalty kick, that's like Ray Bourque taking a penalty shot in the Olympics, is it not?
Yeah, it's not uncommon. I mean, Ray Bourque taking a penalty shot in the Olympics was more extreme because you have like
Wayne Gretzky sitting on the
12
bench.
other forwards. You have 12 other forwards, right?
One of whom was named Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah. No, it is fairly common for defenders to take penalty kicks because, I mean, it's this kind of like a separate skill.
Okay.
And they know who's good. And actually, I've listened to many interviews and many things about that game. And actually, Southgate, I think, was a little bit surprised that he was taking the shot.
Just like Ray Bourque, I think, was surprised that he was taking the shot.
I'm still surprised.
No, but Ray himself, I think, was surprised.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
So that's number 4. So we're now into the top 3. So number 3 on my list is the theme to This Week in Baseball, which, by the way, is called Gathering Crowds. Now, when you hear that theme, especially at the end of the show when they play the whole thing, it is one of the most amazing songs. The song is actually called Gathering Crowds. It was written by a British guy named John Scott.
You've done your research.
I have. And I love that song.
This is a big swing and a miss by me because I know exactly the song you're thinking of. The ending, how it kind of goes on and on and on as the credits are going.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Now, by the way, one of the songs in your list, the song by Anakin Slade, he steals the theme from This Week in Baseball in his song.
He uses that at the beginning,
Yeah. So, but I'm talking about the original Twib is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a great one.
So that's number 3 on my list.
I missed This Week in Baseball. I don't know if it still exists or not.
I don't think it does. It was a great show, especially when it was hosted by Mel Allen, who of course is no longer with us.
Yeah.
So the next song, there's actually 2 versions of this song. Well, 2 that I know of, maybe more. Both are written by a gentleman by the name of Terry Cashman. And both have the same title. And the title is Talkin' Baseball.
Oh, God.
And it goes like this. We're talking baseball. and then he mentions names of players. And
Ruth Campanella, Bobby Feller.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know the song,
exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm
not going to sing it. I'm not brave enough to sing it like you, but I can.
There's an Expos version where it's talking baseball, Gullickson and Dawson, baseball.
Really?
Anyway, I did find it on YouTube, so it counts. And I can send you the link. So for this, number 2, I'm putting Talkin' Baseball, the Expos version by Terry Cashman.
I'm talking baseball, Gullickson and Dawson, Expo baseball. Gary Carter's awesome, Cromartie, Scott, and Rodney all can play. Reardon coming in to save the day. Talking baseball, Expos all the way.
The Expos version you have as number 2, not the regular version.
Not the regular. It's the same song. It's just different players' names.
Different song.
On the Expos version, it's all Expos players. The original version has players from many different teams.
The original version is so iconic. I'm also disappointed that I forgot about it. At the end when he says like Willie, Mickey, and the Duke, like that's the
Willie,
song, right? Oh, so
Mickey
good.
and the Duke, say hey, say hey.
That part's great. Yeah, that part's great. Do you mind if I leave your singing in the episode?
Go ahead, leave it in there.
Okay. Yeah, actually, that's a great song. And number
1,
I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't think of that.
So number 1 on my list is One Shining Moment, the David Barrett version, of course.
The ball is tipped. There you are. You're running for your life.
This,
I knew when we started this exercise that we would have the same number 1.
of course.
Yeah, I mean,
That was the whole point of
support our
doing it.
conclusion. Yeah.
If we didn't have the same one, then we couldn't have a show together. But again, I have to stipulate the David Barrett version, which is the
100%.
original version, is the only version that actually matters in this world. All other
But they
versions,
haven't used the David Barrett version in many years.
well, they make a lot of mistakes at CBS. What can I tell you?
The fact that they still do the One Shining Moment is great.
It's
I'm
the best
happy
part of the
about it.
tournament.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but
No, it is. It really is. Because once your team gets eliminated, and once you're eliminated from your bracket, the only reason left to watch is for One Shining Moment.
I can't disagree.
Like,
with that.
even when my most hated team, North Carolina, wins the tournament, I still watch because I want to see One Shining Moment. Now, of course, us in Canada, we get screwed every second year. We don't get to see One Shining Moment because
that's just been the last few years,
right,
Yeah.
because TSN screws us.
Yeah.
So that
Do
is
you
my
have
list.
Do you have any specific like One Shining Moments that you remember, or?
Well, of course, the first year that Duke won the tournament.
Yeah, for me, that's like
was probably my
when I
favorite
think of
one.
One Shining Moment, I think of that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my favorite one. I think.
it's great. Like, there's so much Bobby Hurley in there.
And lately, the most recent One Shining Moments in the last, let's say, 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
I don't like the clips that they put in. Like, they don't put in enough clips of the championship game. It's almost like it's an afterthought.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was always amazed. We both talked about this.
Yeah.
That they're able to like piece together this song, this music video. They've got it ready, but they can't finish it because they have to save some spots for stuff from the championship game.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So,
But
you
I mean,
can
they do-
imagine that like there's basically half an hour goes by from the time the final whistle blows at Champion's Crown to when they air One Shining Moment, and those video editors are like, they must be like moving at top speed to get the final One Shining Moment ready. Right?
Well, it's actually, I timed it. There's actually a full hour between the final buzzer and when they play the song, because they interview like everyone and his dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have an hour to do it, but what they probably do is they have 80 to 90% of the video done. And then they just have to put in, like, the music's already done. They just have to put in the video for the last little bit.
Yeah, usually they're going to pick 4 or 5 plays from the last game, right?
And I mean, I'm sure there's one guy, that's his, or girl, that's his or her only job.
Oh, for sure.
That's all he has
For
to
sure.
do. So, like, I mean,
Imagine that's your job. You're the One Shining Moment guy.
yeah. So yeah, that's my favorite song and my favorite sports song, and that's my list. And I'll send it to you so you can post it on our website. And if you need links to certain songs, I'll send you that as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Very excited to post this episode.
Excellent.
I can't wait to get feedback from the listeners of like what songs we rank too high, what songs we rank too low, maybe songs we didn't think of. Although we're pretty comprehensive, although we are a little bit Expos centric in Montreal, which is like normal. That's where we live.
That's okay.
Well,
One song
that's where
that
I live,
didn't
that's
make
where you lived.
one song that did not make my list. Okay, Blue Jays, Let's Play Ball. Did not make my list.
You know what? Of all the baseball songs, it's not bad.
Oh, it's bad.
It's
bad.
not bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
I know, like, anytime I've gone to a Blue Jay game, I'm like really excited when they put on the OK Blue Jays,
I'm not a fan.
How do people in Toronto feel about it?
I
Do
think
they like
when the team's doing well, I think they like the song.
it? Right. Okay.
So, all right. Well, great episode.
Before we sign off, I'm going to remind everybody that you got to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play to make sure you never miss an episode of our show. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review. We would love to hear from you by email, skipandjoshshow@gmail.com. Specifically this episode, tell us what songs we may have missed. Tell us what songs you love. what songs you think of when you think of sports songs. We're on Twitter at Skip and Josh, and you can like and follow our Facebook page. And also, everything I just said is on skipandjosh.com. And like Josh said, I'll post both our lists.
Awesome.
All right, so I'll speak to you next time.
Talk to you later.
One shine